Ernest Saves Christmas, released in 1988, starring Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell, the titular character. So the story is pretty standard Christmas movie fare here. Ernest is a hapless taxi driver on Christmas. He gets sucked into a Christmas adventure after some zany mishaps, and Santa becomes a fare and leaves his bag in the back of his car. And Ernest takes it upon himself to help save Christmas. It's not a very clever title. So the big question, is it any good? Kind of. Let's start with the bad stuff, because I think the bad stuff kind of frames up the rest of the conversation. Because in 1988, Ernest P. Worrell was kind of at the height of his popularity as a fictional character, I think. He had his own television show for kids on Saturday morning, and unfortunately, a lot of those characters and actors from that TV show come over into the movie. The movie is already kind of hard for anyone under the age of 35 to really get, because the character is so dated. And when it drops into the old commercials where it's the, hey Vern, I'm your neighbor and I'm annoying, and it's like everything's shot in first person.
It's Santa's little party helper. Hi. This is Harmony. She's been having kind of a tough time, so I'm helping her out. You know, kind of a father image kind of thing. As the twig is bent, so grows the tree. Know what I mean?
That's going to confuse a lot of people coming into it. No one knows what Vern is. He's not a character in the movie. He just pops up as the first person view for this one scene. So it just doesn't fit. And what you also notice is that Ernest P. Worrell in the movies is different than Ernest P. Worrell in the commercials and even the television show. Because Ernest in the movies becomes this sort of lovable dork, this warm-hearted, friendly guy that's like he's an underdog and you just want to root for him. Whereas the commercials and to some extent the TV show, he's the annoying neighbor. He's the guy that butts in. He's inconsiderate. He's not a very likable character, but he's a very entertaining and unique character. Those juxtapositions where they jump back and forth between Ernest basically being two characters and jumping into first person from a standard movie view, it's going to be confusing, and I can't recommend it for people like under a certain age that aren't familiar with this character. But that said, if you can get past all of like the goofy characters and the commercial references and everything like that, there's about half a movie there that's really, really good. The actors are really good. Jim Varney is just always amazing. I love Jim Varney. He's an underrated treasure. We lost him too soon. So it's always great to go back and see one of his films. So would I recommend Ernest Saves Christmas? Maybe. If you are familiar with the character already or love Jim Varney, definitely go check it out. Like, it's not going to be one you watch every year probably, but it's nice to go back and remember this like all right sort of movie starring a really cool guy. If you're under the age of 35 and aren't familiar with the character, just pass. Like, it's a maybe 3 out of 5 movie. Not offensively bad, but there's not a whole lot for anyone that's not already a fan of Ernest here. So go ahead and skip on over to the next Christmas movie, in my opinion.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
So a little explanation about what I'm doing here. I decided I wanted to really get into the Christmas spirit this year so I could write a Christmas song to release for next holiday season. So what better way to do that than watch just a bunch of Christmas movies? Now, normally I have about 3 to 5 movies that I watch every year depending on my time and how I'm feeling about Christmas that particular year. So I decided why not expand it some? Let's search for some hidden gems, maybe find some movies that have flown under the radar so far. Expand my vocabulary when it comes to holiday movies.